For the folks that don't know me, my name is Kevin Brown. I work here with Michelle. And we work on grants and stuff in Green County. And I had a meeting not too long ago and I had really good news. And I just wanted to share it with you guys. So I'm going to have to go up here to the slideshow and maybe bring the slides and everything, and I'll talk over here. So anyway, this is 5 Point Center. I'd like to welcome everybody here. If you have any questions about what we do, I'll be glad to tell you about it. After the meeting. Alright, so first of all, I want to talk about the different types of internet that's available right now. This is what we've been, mostly what's here, which most of you are probably aware of this. In case if somebody was not that aware of the internet, I just wanted to go over it real quick. So, our absolute best option for internet is optical fiber. That's very annoying. But I gotta leave it on. Alright, optical fiber, they take a big glass of glass and they stretch it for long periods. And what's so nice about optical fiber is super fast. It's very dependable. It doesn't have any metal in it, so you can't get any metal interference from other lines and stuff in the area. And it's upgradable. So what I mean by that is, like, if you were to take all the technology that we have now, all in our network operating centers and all the technology, in 100 years, it's going to be worthless, just go away. Everything but fiber. Fiber is that upgradable, and it's the best thing you can possibly get. And right now, we do have fiber. We have it at this building. Some places in town, Boston West, they sell mostly to commercial only. But the good news is Zito. Well, let me continue with this, and I'll tell you the good news. All right. So Zito also has a cable. It's another option for internet. It's cable. So you got optical fiber. You have cable. Cable is a lot weaker. It's very undependable. From my experience, it goes in and out all the time. From dealing with folks, and I've been in most of the homes in this county, and I hear all the complaints, and I get every now and then I'll get a few people who say it's really good, but usually they're complaining because it goes in and out. Matter of fact, there's a lot of businesses in town that have Zito and they have Zito and they have Frontier. Because if one goes out, the hope is the other one will still work, which is not very good service. But that's what we have right now. Okay, so the other thing is Frontier, which is over a phone line. Little bitty. If you ever took a phone line apart, the little wires are really, really tiny. And it really wasn't designed to run the internet over that. They made it work. And it's very slow, but if that's all you got, that's all you got. It's a lot better than nothing. Other is fixed wireless, which is like your AT&T or your Verizon, and I'm sure you have a cell phone. You know what that is. And I'm going quickly through this stuff. Another is very popular right now is they call it LEO, and you'll hear that often, which stands for Low Earth Orbit Satellites, and that's Starlink. And Starlink that's what I have at home right now. It's fairly good. It's fairly good, but it's not really infrastructure. We want to build infrastructure that will last from now on. We don't want something that's going to be needed to be upgraded next year or year after. You know, and unfortunately, all satellite technology is limited, extremely limited. Another is, you know, you can turn your phone into a hotspot, and you can get internet that way as well. That's another way you can get internet. And then the last one is dial-up, and we don't really use it so much anymore. There's a couple of cases where they'll still use it for some things, because since it's not used anymore, it makes it secure. But it's very rarely ever used. So here's what we're here to talk about is the grants. All right. So we've had 4 grants in the state of North Carolina. And the first one is the GREAT grant. Okay. The GREAT grant was awarded to Zito for that amount of money. $619,000. Okay. Another thing about internet real quick is there's different types of internet. So you have the middle mile, you have the last mile, there's a line extension, and then you have the backbone. So I hear it all the time, they'll say, well, fiber's coming right down my front yard. You know, but I can't get access. And what it is if you have the backbone, which is all the fiber connected together, it might go right across your front yard, but it might be 12 miles before there's an off-ramp. Kind of like if you're on a highway, you know what I mean? You know, so they can't just connect you to it anywhere. It's got to go to a network operating center first. But anyway, this is the GREAT grant. And Zito got awarded the GREAT grant. Now with the GREAT grant, they've already started Zito. You see Zito all the time now. They've already started, and for some reason they've done Cochran's Creek and Yama Creek, which is pretty far from our business district, but that's where they started. But we got more coming. So the next slide is the CAD grant. The CAD grant is the Competitive Access to Broadband grant. Is Zito won it for sure? As well. I tried to look it up, and I don't know how much money we actually got awarded, but they got awarded that grant. I printed these things so you could take them home if you wanted to go in depth and read a little bit more. All right, here's the RDOF grant. The RDOF grant was awarded to Zytel, and Zytel gave the money back because the footprint was like, it's $2.something million, and the footprint was so large, they're like, there's no way we can do it for that. So they gave the money back. And then I think Charter got awarded that money, and then they handed it over to Zito. So Zito has all of them now. Okay? All 3 of those grants. Now this next grant, and the last one we're going to go over today, is called BEAD. Well, here's your grant in your totals, in the amount of awards, and everything, if you wanted to glance at that. But the last grant is called BEAD, and I've been working on BEAD for about 2 years. And we go to the next slide, and you can see BEAD. Okay, it's broadband equity, access, and deployment. Trump changed the equity to expansion, so now it's broadband expansion. But if you look at the map of North Carolina, and this is the good news. Zito, the meeting I had with Zito about 2 weeks ago, he told me by this time next year, which is pretty soon, by this time next year, every person that has Zito will be converted over to optical fiber. Wow. That's massive news. We've been fighting and begging and pleading for years to try to get fiber in here, and we're finally getting results. And what's really awesome is, if you look at this map, this is the BEAD map, but the darker areas are better than the lighter colored areas. So look where the dark is in Grant County and Swain. For some reason, we got favor. And in a way, the Zeta guys said Grant County and Swain are going to have better fiber than some big cities because of the upgrades and what they've been awarded. Now the BEAD funding is a lot. We were eligible for $8.5 million just for Grant County for BEAD expansion, for broadband expansion through BEAD. Now, since the administration has changed, it's completely changed. It should be awarded in December. BEAD will be. Don't know who's going to be awarded it, but it's going to probably be about half of what it was going to be. But with that said, with Zito getting the other 3 bids, and with what they're going to, the footprint that they're going to have established, if they win BEAD as well, which they probably will, but that's the way they kind of do it. If one ISP is getting all the funds in one area and is working that area, then it makes sense that they award it to where that one can finish the job. But that should hit not every home in Graham County, but most. It should hit most homes in Graham County. It won't get them all. But that's all what I wanted to show you is, alright, let's talk about this for a minute. Working with BEAD, this is what the FCC map looked like. When I told you I've been working on it for about 2 years. You see all this green out here? All this green is saying that it's completely served. 100 down, 20 up, 25 up, in all of this area, which is not true. It's just not true. So, NCDIT allowed me to do a challenge process. So I drove and I went to most homes, a lot of homes. Some of you I know, either you or your family members, I've been in their home for the challenge process. Well, it worked because I went and done all this legwork to prove what the actual speeds are. And this, you see all these red dots on this one over here? Red dots are BEAD eligible. So that means this new grant coming, if your house has a red dot on it, you're going to be getting internet pretty soon. And that's very, very exciting. So, if you want, and you can play with this, you can look it up, and we can do that. And I'll be glad to look up anybody's house who's really interested and wants to know. But if you go to NC One Map, ONE, like the number 1, it's on the last page of your paper. I printed it on the last page of your paper. NC1map.gov. And let me just go to it real quick. So here's your NC1 map. This is what it looks like when you go to it. Well, maybe not. I apologize. I don't do Microsoft Teams very much. And it's really threw me for a loop. It says I'm sharing, but it's not. Not what it is.
Kevin is correct. We see you in the slides.
I'm sorry?
We we see you and the slides. You can remove it from the screen.
Oh, you do? Okay, well, the folks in the room don't. And it's still showing. Alright, so here we go. Alright. We're working it. So this is what the UC1map.gov looks like. And you guys can go to it anytime you want. And if you scroll down about halfway down the page, see right here where it says B Planning Tool? If you click View, then you see, here's the map that I showed you a minute ago. But you can zoom in wherever you want to go. So, and I didn't bring a mouse. But everywhere there's a red dot is B eligible. Alright, see, and you see how there's a bunch of gray dots over here? In different places? That means that it's not being eligible. Now that doesn't mean that they can't get optical fiber. What it is there's areas that already have fiber because of the other areas. And it's very well possible that what's going on is these other locations are going to be already done, already served and have optical fiber. But you can continue to zoom in. You know, like if, I don't even know who this is, but I'm going to zoom in on it. But see, oh, that's Sweetwater. But you see how it's got a red dot? That means that location is eligible for B. So this is all great views, by the way. I mean, we've really been working on internet, trying to get it in this area for years, and to actually see results is very exciting. And that's why I wanted to tell you guys about it. But this doesn't have to be a very big, long meeting. It's not about me, it's about, I just wanted to update you guys on these things. And that's about all I got. I just wanted to, any questions that you might have, anything you want to know more about, we can go in more in depth. But I know everyone doesn't want to go in a whole lot of depth. But just know that we're here. If you have questions, we can talk about it. And that's about all I got for today. You got anything to say? You would like to add?
Nothing other than you can look up their address if they would like before they leave here tonight, and you can tell them if they're going to be eligible.
To do that. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Kevin. I was just curious, did Zito give kind of like a time frame? I know they'll start in Wayne County and move this way, but was it kind of a time frame that within the next 12 months or something?
Let's talk about Zito a little bit more. All right, so Zito, they said by this time next year, which is pretty soon.
12 months.
Yeah. This time next year, a lot of it will already be done. And then what they're going to do is they're going to go to areas that don't have it. And if say you have a house but you don't have Zito, you're going to get a card in the mail, a postcard, asking to hook up fiber on their house. You don't have to buy the service, but they're going to ask and try to put it at every location. And then with that postcard, you know that it's also going to say, and we do offer service in your area. So they're not going to just put it in and leave. What they're going to do is they're going to give you a postcard in the mail saying, we now offer optical fiber at your house. If you're interested, call this number, blah, 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 blah. Which is really, really nice of them to do that. They don't always go that one extra step. But, any other questions? got to take out.
What about these lines that are already there, that you're too far from the pole? If you need to add on.
Alright, so the way it works is the highway I was showing you earlier. So you have backbones. It's called backbone fiber. There's a lot of dark fiber in it that's just not active. And it goes all the way down 129 all the way to Knoxville. And it also goes down 28, down the main road to 28 all the way that way. So, and it connects together. So we have what's called a celestial loop. And what a celestial loop does, if for some reason it gets cut here, you can get it from the other side. You see what I mean? It's not like if you only had it coming from one location and it gets cut, everybody on this side's lost it. You follow me? But now that it's a celestial loop, if for some reason it got cut, you can get it from the side that you're connected to. So it makes it more dependable. But
How do they get it hooked up? When they say,
they're going to expect a postcard in the mail. And I would say before this time next year, just about, all of those, now B will not be completed by this time next year. It'll be funded in December, but it will be completed within 2 years after funding.
If you get cable, already, then you will get fiberglass.
They're getting rid of cable completely, Zito is, and they're going to go straight with optical fiber everywhere, which is the best thing that you get.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you're already getting cable, they're going to switch it to fiber.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not pull the cable wire out of the ground, then we will put fiber in the ground.
Correct. They're going to do a lot of aerial fiber, and their biggest hindrance, the biggest thing that's slowing them down is getting pole permits. For the heck of it, I called Duke Power and I'm like, all right, if I wanted to run fiber through town, how much would you charge me to connect to your pole? And he told me $150 a month per pole. I can't afford that. But when you have a big company like Zito or Boston West, they make these blanket deals where I'll give you X amount of dollars and use all your poles across the country. And there's also funding available because, a lot of poles, they have a limit of what they can handle. They can only have so many lines on them. Well, if it gets too much, then the pole has to be replaced. So there's replacement money now. There's replacement money now to help with that as well.
You know what? Why isn't Frontier interested in
Now, I was in a meeting with Senator Kevin Corbin, and the strange thing is, Charter was there, Frontier was there, and so was Zito. And I talked to the head men of all three of them. It's like from me to Jeff. And all of them are saying they're coming to this area. Now, I don't know about Charter. He told me at the time they were going to hit every BSL, but that's what they call BSL stands for Broadband Serviceable Location. He claims they're going to hit every BSL in the county. But, in competition is good. So it is possible that Frontier, I know Frontier's working on it as well, but they're talking about, if we get 2 or 3 companies coming in here, competition brings down the price. But if you look at Zito's prices, they're fair. $60, $70, and it's a lot better than what Sterling costs. And Sterling's fairly good. I'm not complaining. And if the power goes off, or something, it usually still works if you can get power to it. What's strange is our frustrated last last week because the cell phones went down everywhere, and at the same time Starlink did. So we're completely here. Our fiber worked, but at home we were completely dead in the water. But hopefully one of them stays soon.
Keep in mind that last year, 2024, Verizon did purchase Frontier Communications, and that was approved by the FCC. So I think it's going forward. I don't think it's been clear.
Right. And I haven't really talked to the Frontier guys since. But I know that, according to what he was telling me, it was about 6 months ago I talked to him. He is interested in broadband expansion in Graham County, but he's not winning the grants. I don't know if, when you're a big company like that, you're trying to cover the entire map, that doesn't always stop a big company. They'll continue to go and run their own fiber. We're limited. Me personally, I'm limited on how much funds I have. When you get these multi-billion-dollar companies, they can just say, "We'll just blanket the whole area." They have all these employees. They're paying them anyway. So they just pay to get it in. Yes.
In Graham County, is Zeta the only performance supplier that's been awarded funds?
No one has been awarded BEAD funding. The award for BEAD funding happens in December of this year. So it's still a couple months out. But Zeta has... Go ahead.
Sorry. Is Zeta relying on that grant awarded to fund the construction of the fiber?
No, they're doing it now. They're working at it now, and with the pulp permitted problems and different things they're saying, by this time next year, they feel confident that a lot of the area will, I'm getting most of these houses, a lot of those red dots are, I get it, most of them in a lot of those locations. And, everyone that has Zeta now will be automatically, by the end of next year, or by this time next year, have Zeta in optical fiber. And they're doing away with cable completely, which is good because it's obsolete.
All right, great. So follow-up question. Just looking at the map, there are some areas in Graham County that are not served in the independent and I think of Galaxy, I'm thinking of some of the other areas, low-lying areas.
That is true.
Can you give a list of the areas that aren't covered by this, so that people will
Well, I don't have a compiled map of all of the funding, but there's huge areas, chunks of property in Graham County that's all federal forest. So, there's no one to get it, or there's no homes there to get it. So, but with what Zeno is telling me, they're telling me the truth. By this time next year, with the first three grants that I went over, the CAB, the RDOF, and BRAKE, they will have a good majority, and then when B gets funded, that should blanket just about every home, would be my guess. They should have the funds to give every home in Graham County with all four grants.
I noticed this, Tacoma is well covered, Broadband, of course, Snowbird, there's some areas out there, but Santiva is pretty well covered, Reality is got one.
It's really hard. Yeah. It's really hard for an ISP or internet service provider to justify spending $10 grand to go sit down somebody's 3 mile driveway just to get that one location. And that's where it becomes a problem. Like, I know houses here in Graham County, you have to go through Forest Service gate, open the gate, and then you close the gate, and then you drive through Forest Service to get to their property. Well, they'll probably never be able to get it. Would be my guess. Because, yeah. But I'm pretty confident that most within reason homes in Graham County will have fiber within 3 years. Well, by this time next year, they'll have the first 3 done, and then the 4th one is 2 years from December. I think the majority of homes will have fiber.
Right, I got 2 more questions, and I'll shut up and let others have the right. The first question is, what does the village point, the minimum point of entry fiber to the property look like? Is it 10 stone out in the yard, or is it to a box up outside the house?
It's a tiny wire, but it's usually aerial, and it goes in where your power does. When they hook up fiber, the outside blocks of the home has to be within 10 or 20 yards of the electrical diode. So, where the power comes into the house, because it has to be grounded. And then they go from there into where you want it to go. So it's not going to look like something different. Matter of fact, you've probably seen a lot of optical fiber and didn't even notice. Optical fiber is all the way through Graham County in the downtown area. And you're looking up and you just see a bunch of wires on a pole. But usually the optical fiber has loops. You'll see the loops of the pole and where the loops are tied. That's usually optical fiber. And
the last question is, what's it going to cost average homes to get connected to Zillow? Not talking about the subscription, I'm just talking about installation. Are they going to pay for everything?
They're paying for everything to the house. So it'll just be a monthly fee. I don't foresee getting a hook fee.
You would have to have a way of turning your fiber into copper for Ethernet and then plug it into a router and then probably those big cars or that inside the house.
Yeah. Well, you hook the optical up to a modem, and then from the modem, now technology is constantly changing, so it wouldn't surprise me if all the modems eventually had Wi-Fi built in, like all the ones that you buy in a store does. But our optical, as far as today, our optical goes into a modem by itself. It does not have Wi-Fi capability. It comes out of it and then it goes to a Wi-Fi router. So it was gives it Wi-Fi capability.
Okay. Now, I'm done with questions. Thank you for the answer, and I'll turn it over to everybody.
Okay. Anybody got anything else?
We want to know if we've got a red dot.
Okay. Well, I can definitely do that. Would it be better if I just bring the laptop in here and individually we just look them up and get interested?
Circle them up.
And everybody can eat as they're waiting for their red dot to be discovered.
Wait in line.
You can go ahead and get a little snack while you're waiting.